Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. So if you're new, welcome aboard. If you're one of the regulars, today we're going to work on a customer's Stihl MS170, and he had just bought it from an older gentleman that he said just didn't use it anymore, and he could get it to run but it wouldn't rev up. Alright, so first things first, personally you should be doing this outside, but let's see if we can't. Alright. So that's the issue. It will run, but the minute you go to give it power, throttle, it dies out. So start to finish, you have to develop a routine, when you're working on these, when you first take them in. I mean, we know it's got fire because, of course, it just ran. So it's either got to be a carburetor fuel issue or compression or fuel. So let's just start there. We're going to pull the plug. Ugh. Now what I'm doing first is I'm going to pull the plug out and do a compression test on it, because I've seen them where they had enough compression to start, but the minute you go to throttle them up, they die out. So it's a good process to, if you're just starting out, to develop a routine where first thing you should be doing is checking compression. Even if it run, and I check to see if it's getting a lot of fuel and it's not. Now with a compression tester, all we're looking to do is see how much compression it has on the top side of the piston. And what it tells us, if it has low compression, that either the rings are bad or they're not seated correctly, where it's allowing, it's not allowing to build the pressure up where it needs to fire. So the way to do that is just simply thread it in. You don't need to go super tight. Get her in there snug. And right now we're at 0. So what I want you to do is I want you to give 4 or 5 good solid pulls. And what it's telling me is it's got less than 20% pressure. You're kidding me. Tighten this up even more. Wow, we're not getting 25%. So what I'm trying to get across to you is you don't know how valuable a compression tester is. And you can get them ready at your Harbor Freight, right? But the big thing is we need to stop right there, because I'll be honest with you, the MS170s aren't worth rebuilding for what it costs for a new one. And you're not wasting a lot of the customer's time, investing time to go any farther. I mean, what's the sense in going any further? If she hasn't got the compression, she can't pull the fuel, and that's why it won't stay running. And if you don't have a compression tester, good chances are you're going to think, well, that's either got to be your high and low range jets, could be a bad carburetor, could be spark plug. You know, you'd be looking all over the place. And that's why we always start with compression. Compression is number 1. 2 is fire, but we already knew we had fire, right? 3 is the actual fuel in the tank, but if we don't have the compression, doesn't matter how good or bad your fuel is, ain't gonna stay running. And then the last thing would be the air cleaner. The sad thing is, this looks like a fairly new saw. You know, it's seen some wear and tear. I can see where the bar has been hot before, where they must have run it without bar oil or ran it out, but that shouldn't have affected any. And she's got an excessive build-up here where somebody might be running a little bit rich. But it is what it is, guys. So always start with compression and then work your way from there. And we already know she hasn't got enough compression to run it, to pull the fuel up into the carburetor. On that note, it is what it is, right? Now I gotta give the customer a call and tell him the bad news. But the good news is I don't have any time invested in it. Wow. So pick yourself up, compression tester right from Harbor Freight, and it'll save you a lot of time when it comes to diagnosing small engines. If anything, it should show you the importance of having a compression tester of some kind. Now, you know, we can try putting a little bit of PV blaster in the cylinder wall to see if it might just be that it's just been sitting for a long time. But my feeling is with having it started a couple different times, you should have had enough with your 50-to-1 ratio to put enough lubricant on those sidewalls in there inside the jug, so that the rings would have sat if they were going to sit toward the seat. Yeah, that's too bad. Get yourself a compression tester. So we're basically going to just bill the customer for diagnosing. That's it.